think 2025 is slowing down? Not even close. Grab that comfy cozy drink and let's get into it. While it may feel like 2025 is winding down, the release schedule is anything but quiet. The rest of the year is jam-packed with new games, from small passion projects to big names that we've been waiting for so long, along with some unexpected gems right in between. But before we get into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on all of my future gaming news, reviews, and how-tos. All right, without further ado, let's dive right in. Here are 25 games still to come in 2025 that you need to know about. Up first, we have Discounty. In Discounty, you step into the role of running a discount supermarket in the quirky harbor town of Blomkest, which was handed down to you by your mysterious Aunt Teller. Your day-to-day is all about organizing the shop's layout, keeping shelf stock, running the register, and striking deals with the local NPCs. You also have to win over locals who aren't exactly thrilled to have you around. Growing too fast might cause some drama, so you'll need to balance the ambition with community trust. It's part management sim, part town life adventure. You'll not only customize your store to bring in customers, but also head out into the town, meet people, and decide whether you want to chase profits at all costs or build up relationships along the way. I did get early access to Discounty from the devs, so if you want to check out my thoughts before deciding on picking it up or not, be sure to watch my Before You Buy review video, which is linked right here in the cards or in the description below. You can expect to pick up Discounty on August 21st for PC, Switch, and PlayStation. Next, we have an adventure exploration game called Herdling. In Herdling, you're guiding a herd of mystical creatures called calicorns through vast alpine landscapes like misty forests, snowy peaks, and rugged trails. The journey is wordless, but it's packed with the atmosphere and light puzzles and plenty of quieter moments where you just bond with your herd. Over time, these little creatures stop feeling like little followers and they just start feeling like your family. This one comes from the same team behind the Far games, so you know it's going to lean heavily into emotional storytelling and gorgeous world design. Personally, it might be a little slower than the kind of games that I usually gravitate towards, but I can definitely see the appeal and it really does look beautiful. You'll be able to pick up Herdling on August 21st for PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S series, Nintendo Switch, and on the Epic's Game Store. Coming up next, a heartwarming farming life sim called Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. In this charming farm sim, you're the new face in Zephyrtown, a breezy mountain hamlet where its once legendary bazaar now sits mostly empty. Your mission? Grow crops, care for animals, whip up some unique goods, and set up your own market stall. And your goal is to restore the bazaar to its old glory and help the whole town thrive. It's basically your typical farming life sim gameplay. This remake of the beloved handheld classic not only revamps the world with upgraded visuals and full voice acting, but it also injects fresh life into the gameplay. Think wind-powered gliders for fast travel, customizable stalls to make your mark on market day, and a lively cast of townsfolk and nature sprites to befriend, romance, and even start a family with. I'll most likely be streaming this one shortly after release over on Twitch, so be sure that you're following if you want to go hang out live. And of course, you can also expect a Before You Buy review video here on the channel, so stay tuned. You'll be able to pick up Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar on August 27th for PC via Steam, Nintendo Switch, and Switch 2. Next up, we've got a fantasy action adventure called The Knightling. You step into the boots of a knight in training who's suddenly thrown into a much bigger journey than expected. You'll be rescuing your missing mentor, Sir Lionstone. Armed with only his enchanted shield, you'll be blocking, bashing, parrying, and stringing together combos as you make your way through the magical world of Klesia. There's plenty of action, but also clever puzzles, exploration, and upgrades that slowly transform you from a rookie into a true hero. This one's definitely caught my eye. The art style seems super charming, and it seems like the kind of game that's perfect for picking up in short bursts, but also easy to sink hours into if you're that type who loves to explore every little corner. You'll be able to pick up The Knightling on August 28th for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Next up, we've got LEGO Voyagers, a brand new co-op LEGO adventure. This one takes a different approach from the usual franchise tie-ins. It's an original LEGO story built entirely around playing with one other person. You and a friend each control a little LEGO brick, and together you're going to explore different worlds, solve puzzles, and gradually rebuild and save an abandoned spaceship to continue the journey. The key here is teamwork. You literally can't play it solo. It's designed from the ground up as a two-player game, whether you're side-by-side in split screen or linking up online. What makes it stand out is how the whole adventure unfolds through cooperation. The way you play, build, and piece things together is the storytelling, giving it the same creative spark that you'd expect from LEGO, but in a much more collaborative way. Think of it as split fiction or It Takes Two, but in LEGO form. You'll be able to set out your journey with LEGO Voyagers when it launches September 15th on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Coming up next, we have Voyagers of Nera, a new survival crafting adventure. And if you've been around the channel for a while, you might remember this one from my most anticipated games of 2024. Now, it was originally planned for last year, but it ended up being pushed into 2025. Honestly, the extra time looks like it is paying off. I've actually been part of the early playtest groups, and it's been really cool to see how much of the game has been growing during development. At its core, Voyages of Nera is a beautiful blend of creature collecting, exploration, and survival. You'll be taming magical creatures, building up your own village, and setting out across a vibrant, mysterious world full of secrets. The art style is absolutely stunning, and it feels like the kind of game that can hook you in for hours, whether you're adventuring solo or with up to 10 friends in co-op. What's even better here is that there's already a demo available on Steam, so if you're curious, you can go try it out for yourself before the early access launch. Voyagers of Nera is set to be released in early access on September 16th via PC on Steam. Next up is Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Sonic's back behind the wheel, but this isn't just another Team Sonic Racing rehash. Crossworlds is shaking things up in some pretty exciting ways. Instead of sticking to traditional tracks, the game introduces dimension hopping courses that warp mid-race, throwing you into an entirely new environment on the fly. 1 second you're drifting through Green Hill Zone, and the next you're blasting through a neon cyber city or a lava-filled cavern, all in the same lap. And the roster? This is where it gets wild. It's not just Sonic and friends. You've got crossover characters from all kinds of fandoms joining the race. Joker from Persona 5, Ichiban from Yakuza, Hatsune Miku, Minecraft's Steven Alex, and so much more to come. Sega's going big on collabs here, and it's honestly one of the most exciting parts of the game. With tighter racing mechanics, new vehicle abilities, and full-on chaos from power-ups, this really feels like Sega's biggest swing at making a kart racer that can stand shoulder to shoulder with the best in the genre. You'll be able to hit the tracks with Sonic Racing Crossworlds on September 25th for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox X and S series, and Nintendo Switch 2. Coming up next, we have LEGO Party. If you've ever thought, man, I wish there was a Mario Party, but with LEGO, well, this is exactly that. LEGO Party brings together all the charm of LEGO with the chaotic fun of board game style minigames. You'll be moving across interactive LEGO themed boards, collecting bricks, unlocking builds, and of course competing in a bunch of minigames where half the fun is watching your friends fail spectacularly. What's really cool is how much personality they're packing in. Customizable LEGO characters, boards inspired by different LEGO themes, and plenty of slapstick humor baked right in. It's the kind of game that feels tailor-made for family game nights or a couch co-op with friends, but it also supports online play if you want to take the chaos worldwide. You can start building memories and probably breaking friendships with LEGO Party dropping on September 30th for PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch. Next up, we've got Little Nightmares 3. If you've been craving more eerie, atmospheric horror platforming, Little Nightmares 3 is almost here, and it's looking just as unsettling as fans were hoping for. This time around, you're not wandering alone. The big change is that it's fully built around two-player co-op, letting you and a friend tackle the game's twisted world together, either online or with an AI companion if you're solo. The environments are bigger, creepier than ever, with each new area feeling like its own bizarre nightmare brought to life. Creaking windmills, crumbling villages, and shadowy figures that look like they've crawled straight out of your subconscious. Expect more tense puzzles, dangerous platforming sequences, and plenty of moments that'll make your skin crawl. And if you're no stranger to my channel, you'll know that I streamed both Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and I couldn't put them down. This is by far one of my most anticipated games of the year, and I can't wait to bring it to stream when it drops. So be sure you follow me over on Twitch if you want to catch that live. You can step back into the nightmare when Little Nightmares 3 launches on October 9th for PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch 2. Coming up, we have Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. The backyard battle is back, and this one's a big throwback for longtime fans. Plants vs. Zombies Replanted is a full modern remake of the original tower defense classic that kicked off the franchise, rebuilt from the ground up with updated visuals, smoother animations, and some fresh surprises sprinkled in. It keeps the same gameplay loop that we all fell in love with, strategically planting your defenses while waves of zombies keep shambling in. But this time, everything looks more polished and alive. On top of the visual overhaul, the devs are also adding some quality of life features, balance tweaks, and a few brand new plants and zombies to mix things up. This feels like the perfect entry for newcomers to finally see where it all began, while also giving longtime fans like us a reason to jump back in all over again. You'll be able to defend your lawn when Plants vs. Zombies Replanted launches on October 23rd for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Next on the list, we have Constance. Constance is a hand-drawn action platform where you'll guide the main character through a shifting, surreal world while battling enemies and tackling some pretty demanding platforming challenges. The gameplay mixes fast-paced combat with exploration, and the hand-drawn art style really gives it a unique personality compared to a lot of the other games coming out this year. What's cool here is how it blends stylish movement with combat that feels challenging without being unfair. You're constantly learning, adapting, and finding new ways to push through the world. This is another one of my personal, most anticipated titles of 2025. I jumped into the free demo a while back ago, and it hooked me instantly. It had that, okay, one more try kind of pull that's always a good sign for games like this. You can check out Constance for yourself when it launches on November 24th for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox X and S series. Up next, we have Paralives. If you've been craving a life sim with complete freedom, Paralives might just be the one that you've been waiting for. This game lets you build, customize, and manage your own world in ways we haven't really seen before, even down to shaping furniture and creating truly unique homes. It's all about creativity and giving players the tools to tell their own stories without limitations. The character creator is another standout. It's incredibly flexible, letting you design people that feel genuinely personal and different from the cookie-cutter styles that we're used to in other life sims. From the little details in your home to the personalities of your characters, Paralives is shaping up to be something really special. This one's been on a ton of most wanted lists for years now, and we're finally about to see it in action. Paralives launches on December 8th for PC, and I can't wait to see what wild creations people come up with once it's out in the world. Coming up next, we have Loftia. Loftia is shaping up to be a really interesting blend of farming, crafting, and social MMO elements. Instead of just building your own little corner of the world, you're working alongside a community of players to farm, decorate, and create a thriving city in the sky. You'll be able to customize your home, take on day-to-day activities like gardening or fishing, but also contribute to larger community projects that make the world feel alive and ever-evolving. It's a mix of personal creativity and multiplayer collaboration that feels pretty fresh compared to most farming sims out there. Now, I should mention I am part of the Loftia Creator Program, and I've been involved in recent playtests. While I can't share the details about these sessions, I can say that I have been thoroughly impressed by how it's coming together and how polished it feels straight out the bat. I also just put out a new video breaking down the latest trailer and all of the new gameplay features that were just revealed. So if you want a deeper dive, definitely check that one out. It is linked here in the cards and in the description below. Right now, Loftia is aiming for an early access launch in December on PC with a Nintendo Switch release planned to follow shortly after. Now keep in mind though, the timeline could shift depending on how development progresses. And now, one of the heaviest hitters still to come this year, Witchbrook. This is a game that's been on so many people's radars for years now, and it's finally set to arrive in winter of 2025. Witchbrook is a magical life sim and adventure game where you play as a student at a school of magic. You'll be attending classes, learning spells, farming, fishing, and building relationships with the townsfolk, all with that classic Chucklefish pixel art style that looks absolutely gorgeous. It's kind of the perfect blend of slice of life gameplay and fantasy adventure. This one is sitting near the very top of Steam's most wishlisted games for good reason. It's got a mix of charm, depth, and world building that's just hard not to get excited about. Witchbrook is planned for release in winter 2025, coming to PC, Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, and Xbox, along with other platforms still unconfirmed for now. Next up, we have The Lonesome Guild. This is a single-player, top-down action RPG all about friendship, and it's already packed with so much personality. You play as Ghost, a spirit with no memory, teaming up with an eclectic cast of 6 little misfits. Each character brings unique abilities, and you can seamlessly switch between them in combat to build combos, solve puzzles, and explore the vibrant world of Aether. What's exciting here is the mix of gameplay. It's not just management screens, but also exploration and character interaction, giving it a little more depth than your standard sim. It's been slowly building some buzz, and it's one I'm keeping an eye on as we get closer to the release date. The Lonesome Guild doesn't have a locked-in release date, but it's currently aiming for Q4 of 2025, either in the fall or the winter, depending on how development shakes out. When it does arrive, you'll be able to play it on PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5. Coming up next, we have Moonlighter 2: The Endless Vault. Fans of the original Moonlighter are in for a treat because this sequel is looking to expand everything that made the first game so addictive. You'll once again balance the life of a shopkeeper by day and dungeon crawler by night. But this time around, the world is bigger, the dungeons are more dangerous, and the stakes are higher. One of the biggest changes here is the shift to multiplayer co-op, letting you explore, fight, and loot alongside with a friend. That opens up a whole new dynamic to both combat and shopkeeping, since you can split roles or tackle challenges together. It also looks like roguelike elements have been expanded, with new enemy types, fresh loot, and some neat little surprises waiting in the procedurally generated vaults. Moonlighter 2 doesn't have an exact release date yet, but it is slated for 2025 and already climbing the Steam charts, which shows just how much hype there is around this little sequel. It will be launching first on PC, with consoles likely to follow after. Next on the horizon is Floatopia. Now, Floatopia has been surprisingly quiet. There's hardly any info out there aside from its Gamescom debut from NetEase, which teased a surreal world of farming, fishing, and floating islands powered by quirky superpowers. It all felt delightfully mysterious, and honestly, that low-key rollout only made me more hyped about it. It's one of those games where less talk, more intrigue goes a long way. At its heart, Floatopia appears to be a social life sim experience where you build and decorate your own floating island, explore shifting skies, and hang out with unusual and often delightfully odd characters, each with their endearing superpower. There's a whimsical sense that you're daydreaming while living in this world, and that vibe is exactly what kept me hooked from the teaser footage alone. There's no confirmed release date yet, though it's slated for 2025, and right now it's only officially known for PC, although many are expecting it could head to consoles later as more reveals come out. Coming up next, we have Winterboro. In this one, you play as a little mouse, returning from the city to find that your childhood house has completely gone down in ruins and your aunt is missing. And from there, it's up to you to survive the harsh winter by gathering resources, keeping yourself warm, cooking, baking, even knitting, and slowly rebuilding your burrow into something that feels like a home again. Along the way, you'll get to explore the snowy forest, discover secrets, and meet some new woodland friends. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not totally sold on this one yet, but I am intrigued by how it's shaping up. It's got a gentle vibe that seems appealing even if it isn't in my usual wheelhouse. Now, right now, Winterboro is aiming for a 2025 release on PC, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox, and is also going to be available day one on Game Pass. Coming up next, we've got Yuka Replayly. Now, if you didn't play the original, this is a 3D platformer very much in the spirit of the old school Banjo-Kazooie games. Bright, colorful worlds filled with collectibles, quirky characters, and a duo of unlikely heroes. You play as the chameleon Yuka and his bat buddy Laylee, teaming up to take down the over-the-top villains of their world by jumping, running, gliding, and using their unique abilities to solve puzzles and reach hidden areas. Replayly isn't just a touch-up, it's a full reimagining of the first game with improved controls, sharper visuals, quality of life updates, and even redesigned levels to make the whole adventure flow even better. It's basically giving fans and newcomers the definitive edition that smooths out rough edges of the original release. It's set to launch on PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S series, PC, and quote Nintendo platforms, which almost certainly means both the Switch and Switch 2. Coming up next, we've got Solarpunk, a vibrant open-world crafting and survival game that takes place in a lush, floating sky world. At its core, it's about exploration, farming, crafting, and building, but what really makes it stand out is its focus on renewable energy and sustainable living. Instead of the dark post-apocalyptic vibe that we usually see in survival games, here you're flying around in airships, generating clean power, and building a sky home that feels alive and hopeful. Now, I know the demo was really well received by a lot of players, but personally, it didn't hit the mark for me. I even ran into a little bit of motion sickness issues while playing, but that said, I'm still really interested in revisiting it once it fully releases and see how it's been evolving. Solarpunk doesn't have an exact release date, but it is slated for sometime in 2025, and it's already climbing high on the Steam wishlist charts. You'll be able to play it on PC first, with other platforms expected to follow later on. Next up, we have Mouse PI for Hire. This game immediately grabs your attention with its vintage cartoon noir flair. It's a first-person shooter wrapped up in the classic 1930s rubber hose animation, refracted through a grittier, more action-packed lens. You step into the spats of Jack Pepper, a detective mouse navigating the seedy underbelly of Mouseburg. It's not just about pulling triggers. There's Metroidvania-style exploration, detective work, and stories with real stakes here. Now, what makes it special isn't just the gameplay though, it's the visual style that sets it apart in a sea of gritty shooters. It's bold, different, and a bit wild, which is exactly what I like. Now, for me personally, this one feels like a hidden gem. I haven't even heard about it until recently, but now that it's on my radar, oh my goodness, I'm really looking forward to it. Mouse PI for Hire doesn't have an exact release date yet, so it is set for sometime in 2025. You'll be able to play it on PC, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch, with support for next-gen platforms as well. And speaking of games with big ambition, let's move right into the next one on the list, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. This is the next entry into the Warriors spin-off series, combining large-scale hack-and-slash combat with the world and characters of The Legend of Zelda. You can expect those trademark massive battles where you're taking down hundreds of enemies at once, pulling off flashy combos, and swapping between a roster of fan-favorite characters, each with their own unique abilities and playstyles. There's also usually a bit of light strategy involved, like capturing outposts and managing the flow of the battlefield, which adds some extra depth on top of the action. And with a title like Age of Imprisonment, it's safe to say that this one will probably dive deeper into Ganondorf's rise and downfall, something longtime Zelda fans are definitely going to keep an eye on. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment is planned for a 2025 release on the Nintendo Switch 2. Coming up next, we've got Cloudheim, a survival adventure set high above the ground on floating islands. You'll be gathering resources, crafting gear, and building up your base while defending it against sky pirates and other threats. The vertical world design plays a big role here. You're not just surviving in one spot, but constantly pushing into new and more dangerous islands as you expand. And what stands out about this one is how it blends survival with a bit of action flair. Between the exploration, the combat, and the base building, it looks like it's aiming to give you more to do than just standard survival loops. And that's what makes it feel worth keeping an eye on. Now, I actually did have access to the recent open beta, but the timing just didn't work out, and I, like the goober self I am, missed my chance to dive in. It's quite a little bit of a bummer, but it's still one of the ones that I'm eager to check out once it's fully ready. Cloud Hide doesn't have a firm release date yet, but it is planned for 2025 via PC on Steam. Coming up next is Everdream Village, the follow-up to Everdream Valley. Now, if you're not familiar with the original, it was a quirky farming sim where by night you can slip into animal roles in goofy dream sequences, which was a charming idea, but it just did not land for me. This sequel is set 10 years after the events of the first game, and it shifts the focus towards building, decorating, and shaping your own village while still keeping the farming and exploration at its core. You'll be raising animals, crafting, and managing your homestead, but with what looks like a more polished presentation and a broader scope than its predecessor. Honestly, Everdream Valley just wasn't a hit for me, and I ended up dropping it a long time ago. But Everdream Village already looks more refined, and I'm cautiously optimistic about whether this one might click in a way that the first one didn't. There's also a free demo available right now on Steam, and I do plan on checking it out myself, so stay tuned because I will be covering my thoughts on it in an upcoming video, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on that drop. Everdream Village is targeted an early access launch in 2025 with PC confirmed so far. Alright, and last but certainly not least, we have Hollow Knight Silksong. This one needs absolutely no introduction. It's the long-awaited sequel to Hollow Knight, one of the most beloved indie Metroidvanias ever. This time, you're going to play as Hornet, who's faster, more agile, and brings a whole new rhythm to the combat. Beyond fighting challenging foes, Silksong sends you through an entirely new kingdom packed with fresh biomes, crafting tools, and over 150 new enemies waiting to be encountered. It's shaping up to be a huge world packed with secrets and surprises. Honestly, even though I admit I raged quite a bit with the original Hollow Knight, I am still pretty excited about it, and I can't wait to get my hands on Silksong and see everything new it has to offer. With its release confirmed for 2025, the wait is almost over. Best of all, they did confirm Silksong will launch on all major platforms: PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Series XS, Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, and PC. And there you have it, 25 amazing games still to come in 2025. If you could only pick your top 3 or even your top 5, which ones are you most excited to play? There's so many to choose from. Were there a few on this list that you hadn't heard of before that may have caught your eye, or are there just some here that are not doing it for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to see what everybody's looking forward to. And if there's any other games that I didn't include here that you're super excited about, let me know. I'm dying to find out. Personally, I am beyond excited for Constance, Little Nightmares 3, Loftia, Witchbrook, and Floatopia. But let's be real though, honestly, I want to play the majority of these games on this list. All right, y'all, until the next time, happy gaming. Bye.